Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are back once again with our weekly podcast, Tru Heel Heat 114. On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be discussing the latest wrestling news, including, well, it's a big show, Paul Wight.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Signing with AEW. We're going to also talk about all the fallout from WWE Elimination Chamber, including a new WWE Champion, Week 67 of the Wednesday Night Wars between AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT, as well as a preview and predictions for New Japan Pro Wrestling Castle Attack, and much, much more. I am back once again with your resident Tru Heel alcoholic himself, Mr. Off the Rails, Top Guy JJ.
Oh yeah, and we back. We back with the shits. Yeah, it's after 9 o'clock in the morning, so the mind is back on deck. You know, the mind is back. Drinks is back on deck. I got a lot of flack for not drinking at 9 o'clock in the fucking morning. 9 a.m. like we gotta work, bro. Like we got jobs and shit. Gotta make that chicken.
They were very, very upset with you for not drinking. They wanted a mimosa going on. They wanted like a pina colada, something, a morning type of drink, a brunch type of drink.
I bet you any one of those people that was questioning me, not a single one of them was drinking.
Probably not. They had just woke up and probably looked at their phone and
wiping the coal out their eye.
Was like,
wiping the coal out their eye, talking about, why isn't JJ drinking? He's not drinking. Fuck, I gotta make that chicken.
Very upset with you. That's the give and take of going live on Saturdays in the morning, is that sometimes Top Guy won't be drinking, but at least we get to call out your comments live. At least that's the good part.
But you know what though, I did pull off drinking at a very early podcast, so you know, sometimes I will, sometimes I won't.
Yeah, you need variation, and you can't do it all the time. It's called moderation.
It's got to be after 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, pretty much. As you can see, we are not joined by the princess of all the true heels, Miss Krssi Luv. A shout out, and we send our love to her. She will be missed, but she will be back next week. Tru Heel Heat 115 as we go live before AEW Revolution. So another live podcast. It's like every other week, it seems, JJ.
I love it. I love the weekly stuff, man. I love going live with, and you know, it felt good with the Facebook thing, man. It felt like old times. I think the last podcast that we was on live, I think it was like Tru Heel Heat like 62 or something like that, which I think was our last live one together before we just got shut down forever. And now, you know, it's crazy. I was actually watching it, and if you watch that podcast back, we were dropping some gems. There was some gems on that podcast.
You and Krssi Luv together. That was one of the rare ones. I think I was looking at the count of our podcast. I've only missed, I think it was like 3 episodes ever of the podcast. You were like at like 9 or 10, but like we are the people that have been on this podcast the most times out of the 114 episodes.
You know, give or take, man. With the anchors of Tru Heel Heat, man. No, you know what? You gotta take your roses while you could get them, even if no one gives them.
Absolutely, and we send our roses to you watching. Of course, we always do these Tru Heel Heat podcasts for you, and you want we want to send our love to you guys. Thank you guys for supporting the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, helping us get to 1K subscribers, but help the journey along even further by liking this video, sharing this video with all your wrestling friends, as well as the fans, your family, everyone else in between. You can retweet this on Twitter. We're going to post this on all of our main pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can share it all there. And of course, there is the subscribe button and the iCard. You can push on either or if you haven't already to subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. And of course, push the bell so you always get notified when a new podcast drops, when a new show review, or whenever we have our live streams. So make sure the bell is very important. It helps you whenever Tru Heel Heat is going live, so definitely keep on track with that. We have to start off Tru Heel Heat 114 with some, sad news in the wrestling world. We had another loss in the wrestling community as Joseph Hudson, aka Josephus, aka the question mark from the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA and NWA Power. He passed away on Wednesday of this week. Unfortunately, it's a very sad loss with the wrestling community. Some stars like Thunder Rosa as well as Aaron Stevens sending their condolences out to his family, as well as Dutch Mantel. He posted up and said on Twitter that it was believed that he suffered from a stroke or an aneurysm. Everyone here at Tru Heel Heat wants to send our thoughts and condolences to his family and his friends in the wrestling community for sure. So we have to start off this Tru Heel Heat. Pick up the mood a little bit by saying that this Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by Powered Forward TV. You can watch Tru Heel Heat on YouTube or on Powered Forward TV, which is the #1 UK streaming site. Over 25 different promotions are available on there. You can see stars like AJ Styles, Pac, Will Ospreay, Rey Fenix, all the great stars of today from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between is on Powered Forward TV. And you can get 50% off of your first month by the promo code SP3. So use my promo code. It helps me out.
Yeah, this guy with a fucking promo code. This guy's a fucking promo code, y'all. Tru Heel Heat, my man, is a promo code on the internet.
Be moving up in the world. So, of course, when we're talking about all our supporters and our subscribers, we start off Tru Heel Heat with our Tru Heel Roll Call. This is where we shout out everyone supporting us on YouTube, on all the audio podcast platforms, as well as social media. We start off things with the Tru Heels group page on Facebook, our top 3 conversation starters, the Tru Heel Trinity, the Nick Jacksons, the Negro Bucks of the world. Coming in at number 3 is Luis Jaden. Coming in at number 2 is Josh Mitchell, and back at number 1, he heard JJ talking about him on the last episode. It's James Wynn.
My man, there you go. You know what I'm saying? You got don't be letting nobody take your top spot, bro. Like, come on, man. You put that pedal back on. You know what I mean? Put that on real quick. Took 1 week off. All right, you get a week off. You got a week vacation, but he's back on top.
He was like, "You can have it for now, but I'm coming back." A couple of more Tru Heels. We got to shout out Ted Williams, Jose Antonio Roman, Sean Young, Kofi 6195. Shouts out to him. I said on Wrestling Daily this week that one of the tag team partners versus each other matches I wanted to see was Kyle O'Reilly versus Bobby Fish. I said I never saw it before because they never did it in Ring of Honor. They haven't done it in NXT yet, and he shouted me out and said that it was on Evolve #1, which is available on the WWE Network. So for anyone like me that didn't know, Kofi 6195 shouted me out on Twitter and told me that. Michael Budge as well, we got to shout out our YouTube subscriber highlight, James Dugan, who's been showing a lot of support to our YouTube channel. We got to definitely shout him out and send him our thanks. Always love to see a Tru Heel Heat video in my notifications. Best YouTube wrestling network coming out of the USA today. He commented that on Richie's Raw recap episode 11. And Kwame Shafir, WWE signing over 20 wrestlers from the indies this month. We all know they're doing this to keep them from going to other big promotions, and especially AEW. He commented that on Tru Heel Heat 113. But we got to start off Tru Heel Heat 114, and we got to talk about it's some big news. Yes.
Like,
Yes,
do
we
we?
do. Yes, we do. We have to start off things talking about the Big Show, Paul Wight, signing with AEW. Yes, in a shocking news development on Wednesday, Big Show Paul Wight signed with AEW. AEW made the announcement via their social media and confirmed that he would be returning to the ring, as well as be on commentary for their new weekly YouTube series, AEW Dark Elevation, which debuts on Monday, March 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on AEW's YouTube channel. The show will feature some AEW stars as well as top independent talent from around the world. Paul Wight was said to have signed a long-term deal with the promotion. PW Insider quickly reported afterwards that Big Show was noticeably unhappy during his last WWE appearance for Legends Night on the January 4th in WWE Raw. His contract with WWE expired last month. Fightful Select reported that sources within WWE were surprised by the move, with no indication that Big Show was leaving, and no formal goodbyes were had. AEW sources were also surprised, but pleased by the announcement, with talent looking forward to learning from the legend of over 25 years of the business. So, what are your thoughts, JJ, on the Big Show, Paul Wight, signing with AEW?
I mean, it was surprising. I ain't gonna lie. I saw that. I think on Instagram when I was on my lunch break or something, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like it was just one of those, just like kind of another turn, like yet another turn. This is turn like 797. Like how many times? Like this is literally his motto. Like this is his motto, just to keep turning about face, a face turn, heel turn, company turn. He's just the king of turns, man. And but
Was this like a double turn though? Did he turn heel on Vince and turn babyface to the fans?
I don't know if he. Well, we don't know until he joins, because I have a feeling he's gonna be a heel I have a feeling he's gonna come on all happy and smiley and be angry as fuck for being left on the sidelines for fucking basically 2 years by the WWE, and he's gonna have a big chip on his shoulder. So he's gonna have probably a hot couple months, like couple months, and then he'll fizzle out. But it's a big deal for AEW. Like the fact that they're getting more star power to their brand, because they more eyes needs to be on AEW, not for the Big Show, but for the rest of the talent that's on the roster. But since they got such a big name like Paul Wight to join AEW, and like a couple more eyes might just take a look at the product now and see how good the brand really is. Because AEW doesn't need him at all. It's just that his name hopefully will bring some eyeballs to their screen that were fans of his.
Yeah, I agree with definitely the last part you said and much of what you said. I think that this is a signing that if it was the other way around, yes, it would be different. A lot of fans always going to be like, "Oh, you're happy that Big Show signed with AEW, but if he signed with WWE, you guys would be all upset." And they don't realize by saying that. Yes, it's true. Yes, if he signed with WWE, you would be apathetic, because WWE led you to believe that. Because the way WWE has booked him for over the last couple of years, it is make you apathetic or not want to see the Big Show. But if him signing with AEW shows any optimism from fans, it's because AEW has inspired that from the fans. The way they have treated legends since their inception has been so much better than what we've seen from WWE for years. And their treatment of stars like Sting, of Jake the Snake Roberts, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, all these guys have roles on AEW. They don't always have the biggest roles, but each of them have a role and it fits in, and they always have something going on. And I think that's what the Big Show was seeing, that when he came back for Legends Night for WWE, that WWE was basically trying to take him out back and put him out to pasture. He was basically he had Orton talk down to him, and he had to act like he was Ric Flair when he's 7 foot 7 foot tall and 350, 400 pounds. He's in the best shape of his career. He looked the best that he's looked since he was like the giant in WCW. So I understand him feeling that maybe I can get more and I can contribute more in the wrestling business by going to AEW. They have all this young talent that can learn from my years of experience, and they're allowing me to do it. WWE is just paying me to sit at home. But this is a real validation for AEW, because this is one of the guys that, you know, most fans would think is a WWE lifer, is a WWE for life type of guy. And him signing with AEW because he wasn't happy with his role in WWE opens the door for more superstars to feel that way. If you're feeling complacent and you're not feeling happy with the way WWE is treating you, AEW is a valuable option. And guys like Big Show making that choice to go over there, making it more viable for people that, you know, guys like a Ricochet or Andrade or Aleister Black, when their time comes with their contract to expire, they're going to be looking at the whole spectrum and be like, I've been treated like this in WWE, but I see guys like Matt Hardy, Big Show, Brody Lee, Dustin Rhodes, guys at different stages of their career going over to AEW and getting more out of their career than they ever did in WWE. That's what I want.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna hit that last part that you just said too. Is that what I caught out of that is Big Show signing with AEW. One, opens up a massive door for any people that had that unhappy itch that says they might want to try something a little different, but they don't know if the well is going to be filled with water or if it's going to be filled with sewer water. And the fact that AEW is bringing, they got Jake the Snake Roberts, they got Arn Anderson, they got Tully Blanchard, they got Dustin Rhodes, they got all of these people. They even somehow involved Shaq in a program, and he was somebody that was a big WWE celebrity, but they know what AEW has done over the past 6 to 8 months is just know how to make everybody feel important. Like, they just know how to make you feel like you're a part of something, like you're in their program and not just a throw-in a backstage segment. AEW knows how to throw your name on a billboard and actually knows how to promote you and make you look like you're relevant. When you're on like Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, you're just in a backstage segment and then you're done for like the next like month and a half. And a lot of these guys that's in the last couple of years of their career, they're working their asses off. You see how hard the Big Show worked. You saw how hard Matt Hardy worked. You see how hard guys like Jeff Hardy worked. And these guys are the older guys. So they feel like they still have something to offer for at least 2-3 years maybe. But WWE just puts them on the sidelines here, collect the paycheck, and just don't go nowhere else. That's not what you're trying to spend the last couple of years before you retire. Look at Sting. Like, Sting looks fucking amazing. Like Sting looks amazing, and he's a main event guy. But what does AEW do? They throw him in the middle of the program and make him feel really important, and don't take the shine away from the big dogs. They don't take the shine away from the Kenny Omegas, the John Moxleys. They don't take the shine away from the guys that actually, the MJFs, the Inner Circle. Like, they keep everyone as viable and as important without taking the whole program away from them. AEW knows how to do that and balance you out. And that's a scary feeling if you're in WWE. A very scary feeling, because there are dozens of underused talent in WWE with expiring contracts that is coming up. And the fact that y'all signed over 20 independent guys, where are all these guys going to fit in programming? Where are all these guys going? Like it's, the rosters are so stacked right now. How many more people are going to end up like Aleister Black? How many more people are going to end up like Ricochet? How many more people are going to end up like how Killian Dane was in the mud for months? Like how long? Like, how many more of these guys are going to be like that? And you start to see guys fall into obscurity. And no, it's not cool. Like, they finally found a way. Like, WWE finally found a way to get a couple of guys back to relevancy. Like, guys like Shinsuke Nakamura. Guys like Cesaro. Like, they found a way to get a couple, but they can't do it for them all. And that's going to leave a lot of guys unhappy. There's only 5 hours of real estate programming on WWE television. You can't fit 150 guys on there. So they're gonna find work elsewhere, especially with prominent names. Because I'm scared of people. Like once if Ricochet steps off to AEW, he's gonna make noise. Aleister Black is gonna make noise. Like these guys will make noise anywhere else. So Paul Wight signing is like, oh shit, oh shit. These guys have the window to do it, and he's given them a lot of courage to do so.
Yeah, like the best comparison we can like make to this situation in history of wrestling is when guys were leaving like WWF to go to WCW. Like if John Moxley would be the closest comparison, and I'm not comparing the two or their star power, but I'm just comparing the signings for the company. You know, if John Moxley is like Hulk Hogan signing with WCW, I think the Big Show would be the closest comparison to the Macho Man signing with WCW, where he was a guy that's WWF through and through, who Vince just feels like he's at the end of his career, but he feels he still has a little bit to contribute, signing over with the leading competitor. So this is a situation I think that it can be an harbinger for a bigger signing, where, you know, WCW's bigger signing came 2 years later when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash signed at the same time. And, you know, it works in reverse, because WWE at the latter half of the Monday Night Wars, they signed guys like a Chris Jericho, and then, you know, a Big Show, and then a Chris Jericho. But the bigger move for them was when the Radicals moved over. All five guys that were kind of underneath the radar. Right, I think that would be the big move that kind of would get the WWE's attention, or make some real significant move as far as like the fans going over to AEW, is if we had a Radical type departure from WWE to AEW. Because I've said it on here many times before. You guys are gonna call me an echo. I know JJ is, because he's been on here the most with me. WWE is becoming what they once hated. It is becoming WCW before our eyes, and, you know, not appreciating the legends that you do have is the reason why they're in a situation where they have kind of scraped the barrel of like nostalgia comebacks. Like, if the Undertaker is really gone, you don't have that option. HBK already bastardized his comeback with that Saudi Arabia thing. Triple H has kind of exhausted it due to his marathon type matches. Goldberg, as you've seen when he comes back, the fans are kind of revolting. Really, all they have as far as like legends coming back, or legends like making a full-time run, is Edge, possibly Christian if you could consider him, and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think I feel where you're coming from with the WWE becoming WCW, but it feels like a much more elongated version of it, because the WWE has so much of a mixture of young and they throw in the old. So it's like they have so much talent on that roster that it's like they could make up for making shitty decisions year after year, and then hit us with a couple months of solid booking, and we're like, oh shit, we're back on board. Like, if literally, like, SmackDown was on fire for the last like month and a half because of their programming, but then they'll throw a Goldberg in there. They'll throw, I mean, God hope that Undertaker stays retired. Like, they'll throw these guys in there for these one-offs. Like, fucking Triple H all of a sudden made an appearance and had a street fight with unsanctioned match with Randy Orton. Like, it's like, why? But it's like they keep making these decisions, but it's like they have so much talent to cover up these shits. Like, the world is praying, as am I, about something I know we're going to talk about later, but they just know how to cover you up with one amazing potential thing to cover up all the shit they've been doing. And that's just the WWE, because they're such a big mogul. They're such a big company. They're on the forefront of everything. They own the spotlight. The spotlight is theirs. Like, they can literally take this shit right here and say, I'm going to make a shitty move times 10, and then I'm going to make one grand move, and then, you know what? Every bad decision just goes away. Like, it's literally, it just poofs. And I have a feeling you know where I'm going. If they pull this trigger next week, that they will cover up so much bad shit that they've done over the past few months.
We will talk about it for sure, but wrapping up the Big Show Paul Wight signing with AEW conversation, is there anyone you would like to see him face in AEW? Of course, you did mention his lifetime rival that he never got his dream match with, Shaquille O'Neal. AEW has the opportunity to give us that match that WWE never delivered on. There's a couple of big men, a couple of smaller guys that he would be a good matchup for. Who would you like to see Paul Wight face in AEW?
You killing me, man, because it was like it's one of those things. Is because that it's almost like I have this much faith in AEW that I feel they're going to insert Paul Wight into next week's match. Like it's like one of those things is that I have a feeling Paul Wight is going to cause Shaquille O'Neal this match against Cody Rhodes next week. And it's because Cody can't defeat she can't defeat Shaquille O'Neal. He's too fucking big. So there's gonna be help from somewhere. And it's gonna create, it's like they will probably foresee and book this for Double or Nothing. They're like they know how to just foresee stuff. And that's the thing about AEW is that when people like this sign, it gives us the faith that we know they'll know how to handle them. So it's like, yo, Sting has just been perfection. Like they did, like Sting, not in the title picture, not in the main event scene, not hogging up anything, literally getting 5 minutes of TV a week. Like he's perfect. He's perfect. He's not taking up the spotlight, but he's giving the eyeballs to watch the program. It's perfect.
I mean, you're saying you want to see Shaq versus Wight?
Of course I want to see Shaq versus Wight. I mean, there's the Shaq versus Wight. I ain't gonna lie. There's one guy that I would love to see, and I would love to see him versus the Murder Hawk Monster. Like that would be just dope as fuck because Lance Archer is so good that he will make this a spectacular match. Like, he would make this great. Like, of course, you would. I only want to see him against the big guys. Like, I only want to see him against the Brian Cages. I want to see him against Wardlows. I want to see him make his matches count. Like, I don't want to see him fighting Phoenixes. I don't want to see him fighting any of the small. I don't want to see him in a match with Scorpio Sky.
I'm sorry. Him versus Marco Stunt is a dream match. That's the dream match.
We're replaying WrestleMania 24 all over again.
Marco Stunt versus Big Show is a dream match. Big Show versus John Silver is a dream match.
But I guess in a comedic standpoint, but I don't feel like Big Show has a lot of matches left in his career. I don't feel like he has a lot of matches because his bumps are like 4 times harder than the average wrestler's bump because he's 400 pounds. So every bump he takes months off of his career. So I'd rather those bumps be in matches we'll remember because the last really, really good match that I remember Big Show having was ironically, was his clashes with Braun Strowman.
Absolutely.
And it's like, but those matches took months off of his career because he suffered broken hips in those matches. So his bumps are much more severe than the average wrestler's bump, but I want his bumps to count. I want them shits to count.
Yeah, people don't talk about it enough how important he was to the rise of Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Like, Big Show was very important to all of those guys' rises. But I have faith that AEW is going to more or less book the Paul Wight run like Andre the Giant. He needs to be booked like a special attraction. Andre the Giant, the reason why he paid off to be such a great draw at WrestleMania 3 is because he was protected and had that type of undefeated streak where no one really saw him take a bump or take a pinfall loss or take a loss period for it was very rarely done. It was only when he was in the title picture because they didn't want to put the title on him because they wanted to protect him. That's how I think that AEW should book him, where his losses are going to count a whole lot more if they book him that way. And then the final note is that we definitely have to talk about is him on commentary for the AEW Dark Elevation series. I thought it was a very sneaky, sly, great move by AEW to kind of sneak the announcement of the show in with Paul Wight's signing. I think that it got more attention for this new series than it would have got otherwise if it was announced on its own. But do you believe that it was a good decision to place him on commentary for this new series, JJ?
Yeah, absolutely. He has charisma all in his voice. Like he literally bleeds knowing how to talk. Like, he knows how to talk. Like, he is going to be fantastic at commentary. Just because he's a student of the business, so he knows everything about it. He's going to be able to give stories pretty much about every single person that he talks about because he is so entrenched in it. Like, that's gonna fit like a glove. Like, I think his commentary is gonna be spot on. He's gonna drop gems every week.
Yeah, he should be a lot of fun, and his interactions with Tony Schiavone should be something that draws viewers in by itself without even the performers or knowing the matches on the card.
I'm watching that show just to hear them talk. I'm watching that show just to hear them talk. Because I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't watch Dark. I don't get the chance to watch Dark because it just doesn't fit in my work schedule. I really just don't watch Dark, unfortunately, because I know I'm missing a lot of really good matches. I'm watching this shit. I need to see how these two interact, and I need to see how these guys put over the other talent. I gotta make time on this one because this is happening on Monday night as well.
Yes,
it's obviously happening on YouTube. It's on YouTube, Robert, but it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's not live, so I can just catch that shit whenever I get home.
Exactly. Starting Monday, March 15th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on AEW's YouTube channel. But yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about with Big Show signing with AEW, so we'll be sure to talk about any updates right here on Tru Heel Heat. All right, JJ, so we got to move on to what we missed. And of course, we got to start off things. What we missed seems to be starting off so nicely when we start off with the Wednesday Night Wars. We got to start off talking about Week 66 of the Wednesday Night Wars between WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite. If this is your first time watching Tru Heel Heat, this is where we tell you the ratings for both shows, as well as break down what happened on both Wednesday night shows, and we decide what was the better show for the week. If you don't like our quick little synopsis of both shows, if you want a detailed synopsis of what each show had to offer on Wednesday night, you could definitely check out Wednesday Night Warriors with Romeo and Chris G. They usually drop every single weekend right here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, where they break down each show. They tell you their MVP, LVP, match of the night, and they decide what was the better show for the week. And if you just like AEW, check out AE Recap with Marcus Cash and Jimmy Macaram breaking down all the action on AEW. But Miss Krssi Luv is not here this week, Top Guy JJ, so we don't have any drums. Or do you want to take the drum duty?
I'll give it a shot. I'll see if I can not fuck this up.
Okay. So, hit the drums.
For you, boo boo.
For week 66 of the Wednesday Night Wars, WWE NXT comes in with 734,000 viewers to AEW Dynamite with 831,000 viewers. Both shows are up from last week. AEW did 747,000 last week, while WWE NXT did 713,000 on AEW Dynamite. Quite the show. It felt like a go-home show before the go-home show, with Lance Archer defeating Rey Fenix in an absolute banger of a main event to advance to the Face of the Revolution ladder match at AEW Revolution. MJF and Chris Jericho bloodied and laid out the Young Bucks' father, Papa Buck, laid out backstage. Jon Moxley defeated Ryan Nemeth and cut an impassioned, an excellent promo about the exploding barbed wire death match at AEW Revolution. That was followed by a beautiful, beautiful hype package, hyping up the history between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, making it feel like it's the biggest rivalry in wrestling.
They went back. I loved it.
But when we're talking about excellent segments, we gotta talk about Sting and Darby Allin getting revenge in the best segment for Sting since his debut, in my opinion, laying out Brian Cage with a Stinger Splash and a Scorpion Death Drop after Darby Allin zip-lined to the ring on a skateboard. Beautiful stuff. Hangman Page defeated Isaiah Cassidy in a breakout performance for Isaiah Cassidy. Really good matchup. Then Matt Hardy threw number 5 of the Dark Order through a table off the stage. Nyla Rose beat Britt Baker in another good match to advance in the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Over on WWE NXT, Adam Cole officially turned on Undisputed Era in a great final segment, attacking Roderick Strong with a low blow and super kick, following a feigned apology to Kyle O'Reilly and another super kick to NXT champion Finn Balor. Dexter Lumis.
What a performance! Continue.
Dexter Lumis beat NXT North American Champion Johnny Gargano in non-title action. Cameron Grimes tried to pull a Ted DiBiase on a few unsuspected people all night, ending in him telling DiBiase to kiss his grits. Io Shirai versus Toni Storm for the NXT Women's Championship was made official for 2 weeks' time after Shirai defeated Zoe Starks in an impressive showing for the young rookie to NXT. But, of course, every week is the same. We gotta ask this question, Top Guy JJ. What was the better show for the week? AEW Dynamite or WWE NXT?
This is why I hate the winner is Wednesday night fans. Like the winner is Wednesday night fans, because I'm not gonna stress this anymore. NXT was fucking good. Like, to me, NXT was awesome. If this was like any other week for me, I would have picked NXT. They gave my girl Zoe Stark a one-on-one match with Io Shirai the week after I praised her, and she delivered. Like, that was such an impressive performance by Zoe Stark. And just NXT, to me, that was carrying Cross's best performance in NXT that I've seen since he's been since he's been on NXT. His best performance by far. Adam Cole. Like, oh man, Adam Cole, bro. My man cried. He whimpered. He talked about how despicable he felt. I don't care if you knew it was coming. He delivered. Like, he was so fucking good. He was so fucking good. But then you talk about AEW. Like, it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. AEW is on a different level, man. It's not fair. It's not fair. The fact that we didn't even talk about how awesome that FTR promo that they cut with their match with the Jurassic Express, with the return of Tully Blanchard to the ring. Like, why am I hyped for that? Like, it's AEW. They know how to make every story feel important. And then with MJF and Chris Jericho did to get, this was the energy that I was looking for the Young Bucks for about 5 months. Like, I feel like they've been on a fence of them passionate promos and those like the real wrestling storylines. I felt like they were always on the fence. This is a wrestling storyline. I fucking loved it. This was the best I've seen Matt Jackson look emotionally ever. Like, Matt Jackson was pissed the fuck off. like every angle felt like there was something to be had there. And then Sting and Darby Allin, like, I can just gush over everything that AEW does right now because it's like they don't leave a segment unturned. Like they literally take their time with every single segment and they make every single segment mean something. And that's the problem with AEW. For NXT, it shows in the ratings clearly. Like the ratings, AEW's in a better stratosphere, but NXT has been good. NXT has been good. NXT has been a really good show on Wednesdays. They just haven't been the best program in all of wrestling over the past couple of months. AEW is on fire.
I think it was 2-3 weeks ago I picked, or 4 weeks ago maybe, I picked NXT over AEW, and AEW has been knocking out of the park ever since then. I don't agree with the NXT portion of it. I thought this was a kind of disjointed show where, like, the first, I want to say, 80 minutes of the show felt very developmental. So it felt very developmental. Because Dexter Loomis, I'm sorry, Dexter Loomis opening the show. That killed the show.
SP, I'll tell you something, and I'll cop to it. 100%. I am biased as fuck with the Zoe Stark thing. Like, I marked the fuck out when I saw that segment when William Regal offered her a match with Io Shirai. I was like, there we go. My girl got a fucking match. And I was like, I marked out for that shit. And she put on a good match. So I marked out for that shit. So I'm a little bit biased.
We know this. And it was a strong, that's why I said it was the first 80 minutes or so were weak, but the final 40 minutes was a very strong effort. I do agree with you. This was Karrion Kross's best presentation. Santo Escobar also looked good, yes. But Karrion Kross was able to look like a monster who could play a babyface or a heel, and he took a lot of offense and looked like a destroyer at the end. So this was like the best he's looked in a match in quite some time since his debut. Yes. But the main event segment with Adam Cole, that was the best segment of the night. Adam Cole was amazing in the segment. Roderick Strong had a very solid performance, and Finn Balor showing off his anger, getting upset. But it was kind of telegraphed, but still great performance by Adam Cole, getting us to the likely destination. And now we know Undisputed Era is officially over. Although I didn't want to see it, I'm okay with that direction because of how well Adam Cole is playing this role right now. But yes, I agree. AEW Dynamite was the better show. It was just on another level. Like, every segment pretty much hit to me because I got where they were going. It either hyped next week's show, the Crossroads episode of AEW Dynamite, or it hyped AEW Revolution. Jon Moxley's promo, my God, Jon Moxley just goes to other levels with his promo work and the emotion and taking you on the ride and like talking about every morning I wake up and I'm not AEW champion. It makes me sick to my stomach, and I will go through barbed wire and climb over explosions to get to where I need to get the AEW championship back again. And it turns out that's exactly what I have to do. Those words, that's where. My God!
I promise you can finish. Like there's one thing that I completely forgot, and anybody that watches Tru Heel Heat knows how I feel about this particular individual. How the fuck am I bought into Big Money Matt again? Like how? Like, it's like they just know what to do with everyone. like the fact that Matt Hardy is now attacking the entire Dark Order. Like how the fuck did they figure this out? Like, how? Like, they are like here, and I'm still just processing it. It's crazy. Continue.
The one thing AEW has proven they can do is adaptability. If something isn't working, they will work at it and work at it and work at it to find the right place for everybody. And the biggest example is that whole entire rivalry you just mentioned. Matt Hardy 6 months ago didn't work. Everybody was down on it. Everybody thought about the all out incident. They thought the broken character wouldn't work anymore. So he switched it up, changed his entire character, became this Carney, Big Money Matt, and it just works. It has elevated him. It has elevated it has elevated Private Party, and now Matt Hardy has a character that can actually have legs on it. The Kingmaker. Dark Order a year and a half ago. Everybody was down on them after the whole putty incident where they did the fake punches on Dustin Rhodes. They ended the December episode 2019 of AEW Dynamite. Now they're one of the most popular groups. And whenever John Silver and Alex Reynolds are on the screen, you're excited.
The best babyface group in the company. How?
Out of nowhere. And Hangman Page, when he got his shot at All Out 2019, no one believed in him. Everybody was like, he feels like the forced babyface of the company. What did they do? They made him losing that match his entire catalyst for his character. He's become this millennial cowboy that no matter where they put him at in the card, whatever he does feels important. And they've really made me turn around my whole feeling on this match. It's a very interesting storyline. It's something that has stakes. It's something that is completely different from everything else on the show, and that's why I love it, and that's why I think it works for the Revolution card. Darby and Sting, like I said, that was the best treatment of Sting. I think if they would have been more strategic with Sting's appearances, this would even hit a little bit better, but it definitely did hit, and it was the best presentation of Sting since his entire debut. I love the women's work. The women stood out again with Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. I'm disappointed Goat Baker did not win.
Match. Oh my god, that was such a good match.
I was disappointed Goat Baker didn't win, but I understand it with where they're going. I think the finals of the tournament is going to be Thunder Rosa versus Yuka Sakazaki, and either one of them is going to have a great match with Shida at AEW Revolution. So either way, this works, and any three of those ladies coming out of Revolution have a ready-made feud with Britt Baker that would work to me. So I'm all for that. I was also disappointed that Phoenix did not win the main event, but my God, what a main event that was. That was just an absolute banger. Rey Fenix is on a whole nother level. Like, WWE fans, you think Cesaro is hot right now as far as in the ring? You haven't watched Rey Fenix then. Rey Fenix is just another level. Whenever he's in the ring, he is showing you something that you haven't seen before, or that you haven't seen at the heights that he is willing to go and the lengths that he is willing to go. The rope walk, punt kick, the double stomp to the back, he just is extraordinary in the ring, and he is absolutely one of the top 5, top 3 best wrestlers in the world, and by far the best high flyer in the business. Lance Archer, he looked great. He looked like a monster. Although I was disappointed that Rey Fenix is not going to be in this ladder match, I did think of the bright side. At least Rey Fenix won't kill himself in this ladder match. And you kind of need a big man for this kind of match, so I understand Lance Archer winning. But yeah, this Dynamite episode was one of my favorites in a very long time. Like you said, the FTR promo talking about the Tully Blanchard match next week. So many things going on in AEW, but everything feels important. And the exploding barbed wire death match just feels like a spectacle that is just building anticipation with every week.
Yo, I hate how good Kenny Omega is. Like, because it's like every week he is setting a precedent that it feels like he has to live up to, and then somehow these crazy maniacs come up with some shit that's like, yo, he is like a better jerk the following week than he is the prior week. He just knows how to, and I love the fact that they know. Remember, Lance Archer was dead a couple months ago. Now Lance Archer's back like he is a very viable person that can become the TNT champion after Revolution. And it's like, how the fuck did they just do that? He looked like he was just out of the mud for a while. And then over the past, they literally spent the last month building him back up. And it's like they just know how to do it. And then watch, next couple of weeks, you're gonna see some really crazy shit coming up with where they dig Orange Cassidy out of the mud, because Orange Cassidy's taken a back burner over the past couple months. Orange Cassidy is gonna be back in the fucking big fold sometime, because it's like they just know how to time their people, and it's just, I just have faith in their booking. Like, I have faith in their booking, and it is so refreshing to see, and it's unfair to NXT because they're putting on good shows, but they're just not putting AEW Dynamite on. Like, it's unfair. Yeah. It's unfair.
And they've constantly shown the ability to reignite either a feud or an individual. And the key example on this episode was the Young Bucks MJF Chris Jericho feud, because I felt like that feud 2 weeks ago had no heat whatsoever behind it. It was just inner circle. It was just the Young Bucks. It was like the tag team title scene was mixing it up with the inner circle storyline. Now it actually feels like they have their own feud after the MJF and Chris Jericho attacking the Papa Buck.
In 2 weeks. They made that happen in 2 weeks. The fact that they made that happen in 2 weeks, and I'm telling you, I swear, like, if NXT was on any other night, NXT is the best WWE programming right now, I believe. I mean, the Roman Reigns thing is phenomenal, of course, and there's things that we love on both. But NXT right now, to me, is the best WWE programmer. But if NXT was on any other night, they wouldn't be having to struggle trying to win any wrestling war, because AEW would beat any single show on any night right now. AEW would beat anything
on a whole. It's on a whole nother level from everything else, and that's why it's the better show to us. But let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought and what you thought was the better show this week between WWE NXT and AEW Dynamite. But we have to move on. What else did we miss? WWE Elimination Chamber 2021. Drew McIntyre wins the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match, last eliminating AJ Styles. Very well booked matchup, very well worked as well. But McIntyre was attacked by Bobby Lashley, and then The Miz cashed in Money in the Bank to become the new WWE Champion. What was your thoughts on the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber, Top Guy JJ, and your thoughts on our new WWE Champion, The Miz?
First, I said I called it last week. This Elimination Chamber match was going to be better than SmackDown's, because SmackDown's was pretty whack.
It wasn't. No, SmackDown's was better. SmackDown's was the match.
SmackDown's was definitely not better. SmackDown was definitely not better than Raw.
You're literally
was not better than Raw.
You're literally the first person on any podcast or view show.
You know what? Because you know why? Because y'all are, and I picked. You know what? And I'm the one that picked the winner. I'm the only one that picked the winner of the SmackDown one. I picked D-Bry, and y'all was like, oh, you're not paying attention to SmackDown. You're not paying attention to SmackDown. Guess who won? Daniel Bryan. Guess how long the match lasted with Roman Reigns? Like I predicted, 3 fucking minutes. It was literally exactly what I predicted on the SmackDown side. Decent showing on SmackDown, but Raw used the fucking chamber. Like, SmackDown was great. Like, that's just what I felt. I listen.
Raw actually did not use the chamber more than the SmackDown one. The SmackDown one had the spot with Cesaro and Sami Zayn climbing the chamber. That was better use. That was the best. That was the best use of the chamber the whole night.
Pull up on the chamber. That's called using the chamber. He used the fucking chamber as a prop. He used it as a workout machine.
Let's use it in the chamber.
You know what? Neither match was bad. But I did think I got more out of the Raw match. Like, I love the fact that they somehow just know how to, even when Amos is not supposed to be involved, they just know how to involve him. They just know how to involve him somehow, even though he got kicked out right after he ripped the door out. That was the first time somebody came into the chamber match against schedule, because he tried to sneak in and he tried to steal victories after all them RKOs was delivered. Like, Randy Orton being the first one eliminated. Who the fuck would have thought, drunk guy JJ? Sorry. But I I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view. I actually enjoyed it. And the when it kind of felt foreseen once Bobby Lashley attacked Drew McIntyre. I actually did not like that. I didn't, because it made it too obvious. Like, it made it so obvious that happened, because if Drew McIntyre would have gone through a war with Sheamus and then he was struggling to get up and then Miz just popped out as the chamber subsided and then jumped in and then beat him that way, I thought that would have been a little bit better. But I love how they inserted Bobby Lashley into the title picture. So it's like, I love what they're getting out of it, but I just don't like how they really executed it. Because once
I think not to interrupt you, but I think your way wouldn't make sense by the way Miz has been booked. The Miz attacking Drew McIntyre, he needed someone else to do the work for him.
I get it. I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I get it. I totally get it. But then again, it makes you look like the weakest champion ever. Like, it makes you look weaker than your. Oh, but it's like they literally laid the fact on the fact. like they solidified the fact. So it's like, okay, yeah, Miz definitely isn't going to WrestleMania with this title. He better not go to WrestleMania with this title. But yeah, it's so. I like the execution of it. I love the fact that the Miz did get to successfully cash in, because it did give that little bit of suspense that even his weak ass, even he couldn't beat Drew McIntyre right off GP after that ass whooping that Drew gave him. Miz still needed to put in some light work to get that done. But it's like, damn, bro, you literally are on the clock with this title run, because this shit ain't gonna last long.
Nope, not at all. And I've said this on a few places so far this week, that I'm on the fence on this Miz move. I get it, because he had the money in the bank. You had to get rid of it, and somehow you wanted to get to Drew versus Bobby Lashley without the two having a match together, and you wanted to use money in the bank as the tool to get there, and that the Miz is the transitional champion. But this version of Miz quite possibly is worse than if Otis cashed in Money in the Bank, in my opinion. Okay, because at least with Otis, I can say Otis has been in a good segment in the past year. I can't say that about the Miz. I can't say the Miz has had a good promo.
But that's John Morrison's fault.
No, it's not John Morrison's fault. It's the Miz. Like, the Miz does the majority of the talking. People always want to blame. People want to say, no, it's Vince's booking. No, it's John Morrison. The Miz is the consistent figure in all of this. Because before John Morrison came back, ladies and gentlemen, it had been even longer since the Miz had a good segment too. Because if you remember, he was in a never-ending feud with Shane McMahon before this shit. Like, what the fuck? It's been 2 years since the Miz had great matches.
You know what you're starting to sound like? You know what you're starting to sound like? You're starting to sound like a Miz girl.
No, I'm not. I'm just stating facts. Miz
loves people like you. He loves people like you that hates on his title run because he sucks. I'm not hating on his title run. I'm not hating on his title run. I am speaking factual evidence that the Miz The Miz was the heel in the worst drawing main event segment in the history of Monday Night Raw. In the 28-year history of Monday Night Raw, they can say The Miz was in the main event of the worst drawing episode of all time. This is not who should be the WWE Champion on the road to WrestleMania. But if he is the transitional champion, I'm all for it, because Bobby Lashley being the WWE champion is what all of us fans want. It's what all of us fans need, and it would give a jolt of adrenaline on the road to WrestleMania. But it has definitely made things very interesting for the WWE Championship picture, and it wasn't very interesting like a week and a half ago. Right, and that's the thing that we was that literally that picture of Bobby Lashley holding that WWE Championship is like this is the picture we all need. This is the picture that is a year in the fucking making. Like Bobby Lashley, and you hit on this months ago, before people even started to realize it, has been the most protected, the best looking heel in the company as the United States champion. So good call on that, because that's something that a lot of people wasn't paying attention to, of how bad they were making him look in a good way. Like they were making him look like a badass. Like he was literally an unbeatable person. He didn't take the fall to Riddle to lose the United States Championship. He was nowhere near the vicinity of the ring. He got whacked with a crutch to get knocked out the ring, and he was back in the ring in seconds. So he looked like the monster. And for fuck's sakes, what he did to Braun Strowman, that shit brought music to my motherfucking ears. What he did to Braun Strowman's ass. So
we'll talk about Monday Night Raw in a bit. I do want to ask you though about the other Elimination Chamber match that you touched on. Daniel Bryan winning the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, which on our WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view roundtable review that was live on our YouTube channel following the pay-per-view. You could check that out right now with myself, Ness, Chris G, and Romeo. The SmackDown Elimination Chamber was voted the match of the night, and Daniel Bryan last eliminated Jey Uso. He was then defeated by Roman Reigns very quickly, and then Roman was speared by Edge, who challenged him for WrestleMania. So what was your thoughts on the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, and what's your thoughts on Edge versus Roman at Mania?
I have to show you this because sometimes I love my alerts. You see this?
Cage side seats. The Miz is a weaker WWE champion than
Don't hit the agenda, you bastards! Facts are spoken on Tru Heel Heat.
No, he is not. No. If you want one WWE champion that was weaker than the Miz, it was Jinder Mahal.
Don't hit the agenda, you bastards! He had higher ratings than the Miz.
Jesus Christ, man!
That was
Tru Heel Heat has lived through both of these WWE champions.
This is gratifying to see. Yes. Oh, that felt great. Now back to the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match. That was voted the match, and that felt so good to see. That felt so good. That was an alert, not a text by me, by the way. But I did feel that there was more wrestling in the SmackDown one, which is never a bad thing. I just want to see the chamber used a lot more, but obviously you call pull-ups in SmackDown a chamber used, and
and Jey Uso slammed the door on.
Then you know what? I was about to miss that part because the way he crushed that arm, that was pretty cool. I liked it. That was nice. He did. Jey Uso was the MVP of that match.
We named 2 spots that used the chamber. You didn't name one on the Raw side.
I did. I named when almost yanked the fucking door out, but that was
That's not using the chamber. What are you talking about? What the fuck?
I just call it like I remember it. But I almost was a G. I almost was a fucking G. He yanked the fucking door out. Oh, and then Drew the fact that I got you. So yes, I copped to it. They used the chamber a little bit more in the SmackDown match. They did. Jey Uso validated your argument. Jey Uso validated it because Jey Uso was a fucking G in that match. He had the most eliminations in that match. He was the last guy to get eliminated. He basically looked like the guy that was going to win the match, but it was pretty obvious once he eliminated Cesaro that it was basically going to be Daniel Bryan taking on Roman Reigns, whatever was left of Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan gave you 30 seconds of hope. And then Roman he literally looked at his what the fuck are you doing with this weak shit? Get your ass off me! You weakling! It's the tribal chief, your tribal chief, the head of the table. Touch me with this shit. Beat his ass in 30 seconds. Anytime, homie. Anytime. It's my ring. And then Edge comes and fucks shit up. And then Edge's disrespectful ass comes and fucks shit up. You know what? You picked the wrong fight with the wrong guy because your comeback is gonna fucking fail because you picked the wrong main event.
No, he picked the right one. He wanted the main event, so he had to pick the right guy.
You got the main event.
He picked the right guy.
The result ain't gonna be what you want, homie.
Not likely it is. I do like the Edge Roman Reigns feud. I like it. I think this is the right person to verse Roman. This feels like the biggest matchup. And like I said, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber was so much better. I thought of another one. Kevin Owens doing the moonsault off the pod. Come on, man. You were ridiculous with that claim. Riddle also defeated John Morrison and Bobby Lashley to win the U.S. title, like we said. They really booked Bobby Lashley like 2015 Brock Lesnar. Like Brock in that match with Cena and Rollins, that's basically how they booked Bobby Lashley in this three-way. Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler defeated Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair to successfully defend the WWE Women's Tag Team titles as well, thanks to the sommelier, Reginald. And like JJ mentioned earlier, Bobby Lashley dominated Monday Night Raw this week with him demanding a WWE Championship matchup with The Miz, which happens next week, and defeating Braun Strowman in the main event of the evening. We also had Charlotte Flair talk down to her dad, Ric Flair, in a very passionate promo. So pretty good stuff on Monday Night Raw. Not as bad as most weeks for Monday Night Raw. NXT UK this week, we got new champions. NXT UK Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly defeated Gallus to win the straps. Congratulations to those fellas. Our good friend Alex McCarthy did an interview with them a couple of months back. Impact Wrestling, Scott D'Amore made the TNA Heavyweight Championship officially recognized in Impact Wrestling, with Moose defending against Jake Something successfully in the main event, and then D'Amore then made Moose and Swan for the Impact World title for Sacrifice on March 13th. So a big matchup coming up there. And speaking of interviews, like I mentioned earlier with Pretty Deadly and Alex McCarthy, check out two interviews that are definitely worth listening to. First of all, with AEW President Tony Khan this week, he had an interview with Brian Alvarez, which actually foreshadowed the signing of Big Show Paul Wight. He said that you're going to see a lot of old and new names coming to AEW over the next couple of weeks, and he said one big name, which was the foreshadow of the Big Show. And also go out of your way to listen to our good friend Alex McCarthy of Wrestling Daily and Talk Sports. He's got an interview on Talk Sports website and Inside the Ropes YouTube channel with Kenny Omega, which talks about a whole bunch of things. Also in the Tony Khan interview, he talked about how Kenny Omega was the guy who came up with the idea for the exploding barbed wire death match. So definitely worth going out of your way to listen to both interviews. But speaking of news like that, we have to run down the rest of the news that's going on in the wrestling world. First of all, WWE news. WWE announces the official list for the largest performance center class that they've ever brought in. The list of names is Bronson Rex-Steiner, who is the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner. Talia Valkyrie, the former Impact Knockouts champion. L.A. Knight, the former Eli Drake, former Impact Wrestling heavyweight champion. AQA, who is a trainee of Booker T, a reality of wrestling. Parker Boudreaux, who is considered the next big thing by Paul Heyman, former American football collegiate athlete. Anthony Henry, who is formerly with Evolve, former Evolve Tag Team Champion. Harlem Bravado. Zoe Starks, as JJ aforementioned, his new favorite on NXT. Christian Casanova, who performed for Battle Club Pro, among other independent wrestling promotions, former Beyond Wrestling heavyweight champion. Priscilla Kelly, aka now Gigi Dolan, former Evolve talent. Cora Jade, formerly known as Elena Black, who performed with our good friends over at Warrior Wrestling. Drew Casper, who is an Olympic athlete. Blake Christian, who performed for Warrior Wrestling as well as GCW, Mad Rick Belton, Cameron Clay, Joe Ariella, Carissa Rivera, who performed for Ring of Honor, and Taylor Grado. So a huge class of new signees for WWE. Who is the one you're looking forward to the most seeing in WWE NXT or the main roster, JJ?
Oh, the one that refused to take a picture with the rest of the class. And my man, which is a fact of life, L.A. Knight. What? He didn't even take a picture with the rest of the marks. Like, he was like, I am not a property of the... He was not wearing that shirt. And I love the fact that he took the stance and didn't even step in that picture frame. And you see the slide of all these cats. And I am kind of looking forward to see what Blake Christian brings, too. But when seeing LA Knight not even take part, I was like, he's already the best heel of this group. He's not even joining the class of these marks. And of course, seeing Taya Valkyrie was like, that was obviously a call that was made a couple months ago. It's like literally just seeing WWE written all over. One, she gets to be back with her husband John Morrison in close proximity, and just obviously just gonna bring some fresh flavor. I kind of hope that she makes it straight to the roster, but I think she's obviously gonna be in NXT first. Because the like Raw with the injection of Rhea Ripley, I think is probably going to be the only thing that they feel like they need, because they need a little bit more. Like the Raw roster is pretty awful when it comes to the women's roster. They need a couple more injections, but I think that they're going to feel okay with just Rhea Ripley. So Taya is going to be in NXT for a while, which I love the fact that they're starting to develop these new women, which is going to make this pretty impressive women's class even stronger. Like they NXT has a damn good women's roster, and they're about to inject some really, really fresh blood in there. So I like the signings. Let's see where they go. Obviously, you know who's my favorite too. But let's see. Let's see what happens. I can't wait to see what they continue to do with Zoe. And I love my LA Knight. I love my... let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. That's my guy, man.
I'm very impressed with the class. I think that Taya Valkyrie is main roster ready. It makes no sense to put her on NXT, and it makes me feel like she's going to be another case of the Kushidas, where we have to wait 2 years for her to have an opportunity, because she's coming into a class of ladies in NXT that are the tops. Like, they have the top woman in all of professional wrestling in this one brand, that someone is gonna be basically penalized for the fact that they have so much talent, and putting in someone who is so main roster ready like Taya Valkyrie, I don't think is the best decision. As far as LA Knight, I am very high on him, but as far as his aspirations for WWE, he's either going to be EC3 in NXT, or he's going to be Bobby Roode in NXT. I think it's one way or the other.
Don't one way or the other. He'll come to the Tru Heel Heat set that's behind you and knock the piss out of your mouth. Don't talk to my man LA Knight like that. My man LA Knight is a gem on the microphone. That's probably going to take place. I agree. That's probably what's going to take him places, unlike EC3, because EC3 is not a gem on the mic.
EC3 is a great talker, actually.
He's a great
and
talker.
That was the way.
He's a great. That was
the reason why he got back to WWE.
He cuts great. It's like promos, silhouettes, whatever you want to call them. He's great at the silhouette promo piece. But just getting on a microphone and talking, LA Knight blows the dust with him.
Each his own. I think it's closer than what you're saying. But
EC3 is pretty good though. But just straight give him a live mic and let him talk. Nah, that's why LA Knight is in the business. because his in-ring work ain't all that.
I think it's the same thing with EC3. That's what I said. That's the whole reason EC3 got back to WWE, and the whole reason he was a success in TNA is because he's a great talker. He's never been a great worker, so that's why I think LA Knight is either going to be EC3 in WWE or he's going to be Bobby Roode. Either way, I think that
it's going to be
interesting.
At least Bobby Roode's a champion right now. At least he got that.
According to Fightful Select, your 24/7 champion, the 2020 Spotify Artist of the Year, and my favorite WWE superstar, Bad Bunny, has been a hit backstage, apparently. WWE sources said that Bunny was an easy person to deal with in their interactions. Also, the WWE 24/7 champion was very open about what was needed from him to do last Sunday at Elimination Chamber and the following Monday on Raw. Bad Bunny was reportedly excited to do business in the future as well. Bad Bunny, a consummate professional, and that's why he's the number one draw in WWE, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. WWE... Absolutely. WWE and A&E announced their series of documentary-style programming, which will feature biography episodes on Steve Austin, Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Booker T, Roddy Piper, and among others, plus a new series titled WWE's Most Wanted Treasures that looks at iconic memorabilia. WrestleVotes tweeted, "It's that time of year, lots of misinformation by way of sources, which happens around WrestleMania. However, from source, WWE title match, The Miz is not scheduled to be involved. As of now, Bobby Lashley is." So apparently WrestleVotes is putting out there that Bobby Lashley will be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania and not The Miz. AEW news update on the AEW Women's World Title Tournament. Like we said, Nyla Rose got the victory over Britt Baker. So she's going to be in the U.S. bracket finals. The semifinals of the U.S. bracket will take place on Bleacher Report Live this Sunday, February 28th, as it's going to be Thunder Rosa going one-on-one with Riho, with the winner versus Nyla Rose. I believe it's going to be on AEW's YouTube channel on Monday before we get the finals on AEW Dynamite on March 3rd. And the finals of the Japanese bracket will also be on the Sunday special on Bleacher Report Live, as Yuka Sakazaki will go one-on-one with Ryo Mizunami. That should be very good action on Bleacher Report Live, as well as AEW's YouTube channel ahead of Dynamite next Wednesday. New Japan Pro Wrestling news: Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado defeated Taji Ishimori and El Phantasmo to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles at the Road to Castle Attack event. This was after Hiromu Takahashi's injury took him out of action and took him out of the match.
Damn, man.
Yes, Hiromu Takahashi is going to be out for 6 months following a pectoral injury. He had to relinquish the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and it will be decided at Castle Attack. We're going to do a preview and predictions for Castle Attack's Night 1 and Night 2 at the end of the show. But we also got to mention in New Japan news, Marty Scurll was backstage at New Japan Strong tapings, the most recent tapings, and apparently he has interest in signing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then it was later, that was reported by Fightful Select on their Patreon account, and then it was later reported by Fanbyte that Marty Scurll was used in a post-match angle on the New Japan Strong tapings with Rocky Romero. So there is interest from New Japan to sign Marty Scurll, so we will see where the villain lands next. And other wrestling news, Jacob Fatu will defend the MLW Heavyweight Championship next week against Injustice's Jordan Oliver. So finally, We are here to the end of the show. One of our final segment before our outro is, of course, our preview and predictions. This time, we are talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling Castle Attack, Night 1 and Night 2. That's going to be on February 27th, Saturday morning for us in the U.S., Saturday evening for those in Japan, and then Night 2 will take place on February 28th, which is Sunday, the Sunday morning for us in the U.S., Sunday night for those in Japan. Let's start off with night number 1. I will run through a couple of the lower card matches, and we will get predictions from both of us for the top matches on the card. But you're going to see Kojima, Tenzan, and Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming up in 6-man tag team action versus the Empire of Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, and Great Okan in the opener for night 1. You're also going to see a special challenge match as Yoshihashi will go one-on-one with Tanga Loa. Another special challenge match of Tama Tonga, the partner of Tanga Loa in Gorillas of Destiny, versus Hiroki Goto. Both of those match previewing the tag team title match on night 2. But let's get preview and predictions. For the King of Pro Wrestling title match, it has been voted the YTR style Texas strap match. Both men are going to be strapped together, and you have to remove the corner pad for each corner of the ring. You don't have to slap the top turnbuckle like in usual Texas strap matches, but you have to remove the corner pad completely. Okay. Of course, because Toru Yano is our King of Pro Wrestling champion, and he will be versing the Bullet Club's Chase Owens. So who wins the YTR style Texas strap match for the KOPW Provisional Championship? Toru Yano or Chase Owens? Top guy JJ.
Of course Toru Yano. What the fuck? Chase Owens ain't winning stupid matches like this. This match is built for Toru Yano. Like, what? You gonna remove a Toru Yano all the way.
This is his expertise. You're probably right. Special challenge match. This is the match I'm most looking forward to. On probably either show. One of the most anticipated matches for me of this weekend. Special challenge match. Switchblade Jay White going one-on-one with Tomohiro Ishii. It was back in the G1 Climax 30. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Switchblade on the final night of the A block, which denied Switchblade the opportunity to win the G1 Climax. Then it was at New Year's Dash, following Jay White's heartbreaking loss at Wrestle Kingdom against Kota Ibushi. Ishii defeated Jay White in 5-on-5 tag team action in his final appearance in New Japan before his hiatus. And then on February 1st, it was Jay White who returned, attacking Ishii, setting his sights on revenge against the Stone Pitbull. So who wins? White versus Ishii. Top guy JJ.
Ah, man, after the promos and everything that Jay White's been doing, man, I gotta go with Switchblade, man. I gotta breathe with Switchblade on this one. Got to. There's no way you're gonna go on a fucking leave of absence because you're mad at the wrestling business and they come back to this event to lose. Nah, he ain't losing.
No, bueno. I agree with you. Switchblade Jay White gets the victory here, gets revenge on Ishii. If I didn't already, Toru Yano.
He gets revenge on wrestling.
That too. If I didn't before, I predict Toru Yano's going to win the KOPW Championship matchup. And then we got the main event of night 1 of Castle Attack. Special challenge match. It's going to be Kazuchika Okada going one-on-one with Evil. Evil and Okada went one-on-one in the finals of the New Japan Cup last year. That was won by Evil, who then turned on Los Ingobernables de Japón and joined the Bullet Club. Kazuchika Okada has been denied the opportunity at Revenge on Evil ever since then. This is his first opportunity one-on-one against Evil, the former IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. Who wins? Evil versus Okada. Top guy JJ.
I mean, I'm gonna go with the classic line of Okada wins. LOL. Because I don't see why Evil wins this match over Okada. So I don't see why. I don't see where this leads to. So Okada wins for no reason. LOL.
Ding, ding, ding. I agree with you. I think Okada wins. I am over the Evil experiment in main events, but Okada needs to get his win back, so I understand the placement here. New Japan Pro Wrestling Castle Attack Night 2 is probably the more impressive card on Sunday, February 28th. You got the opener is going to be Tenkozy, Kojima, and Tenzan versus the Empire of Will Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. You're going to also see Chaos, Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Toru Yano versus the Bullet Club, Evil, Jay White, and Chase Owens. But we're going to get preview and predictions for the title matches, 4 title matches on this card. IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships is on the line. Guerrillas of Destiny will defend against the Chaos duo of Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi. It was Goto, Yoshihashi, and Ishii who defeated Guerrillas of Destiny and Jay White at the New Beginning in Hiroshima in 6-man tag team action to defend the never openweight 6-man tag team titles. Yoshihashi getting the victory over Tanga Loa, which sets up this matchup. Yoshihashi has been on a rise of sorts. He's been beaten for years upon years, but ever since the G1 climax, he has seen improvements in his game. He finally became a champion in New Japan as never openweight 6-man tag team champions, and now he wants to claim tag team gold with his partner of Goto, who wins Goto and Yoshihashi versus GOD.
I love how you try to sell me on that, but there's no way in hell GOD is losing these titles. GOD is taking this. That was a great sell, by the way. But GOD ain't losing.
I try my best, but yeah, I agree with you. GOD gets the victory in this one. Yes, Goto and Yoshihashi, I think, could make good tag team champions, but it just doesn't feel like the right time to make that move. Never openweight championship matchup. You got Hiroshi Tanahashi going one-on-one with Great-O-Khan. Of course, remember back at Wrestle Kingdom 15, it was Tanahashi who got the victory over Great-O-Khan on night 1 or 2. I forget. It's a blur. Too much wrestling to start this year. But yes, Tanahashi beat Okan at Wrestle Kingdom. Tanahashi then followed that up at the New Beginning in Nagoya, defeating Shingo Takagi to win the Never Openweight Championship in arguably what Dave Meltzer calls the greatest Never Openweight Championship match of all time. He rated it 5 stars. I agree with him. A 5-star classic, if you haven't seen it already, between Tanahashi and Shingo back at New Beginning. But after the match, it was Great-O-Khan who attacked the new champion, setting up this match at the Castle Attack. So who wins? Tanahashi versus Great-O-Khan.
Fuck. This is like one of those matches where you feel like you're just gonna go with the right guy to win, which should be Tanahashi. But I feel like they're gonna try to pull this shit again with the Great-O-Khan. So I feel like the Great-O-Khan is gonna pull a massive upset just to keep his stupid name and his stupid look and his whack-ass wrestling style relevant, because there's nothing good about the Great-O-Khan. But for some reason, Tanahashi can afford to take these losses and still be super relevant. So to keep the Great-O-Khan relevant, I feel like they're going to give Great-O-Khan the opportunity to beat Tanahashi in this match.
It's very rare here on Tru Heel Heat that I agree with everything that Top Guy JJ says, but this is one of those rare opportunities. I think that New Japan Pro Wrestling picked the better guy to win back at Wrestle Kingdom. Tanahashi winning there made sense. Great-O-Khan winning here makes way too much sense, because this immediately gets his win back from Wrestle Kingdom. It immediately puts a title on him, and it gives New Japan the opportunity to make a new guy in him by putting some gold on him and giving him a signature win over the ace of the universe. It just makes too much sense for Great-O-Khan to win here. I'm not the biggest Great-O-Khan fan. I know you guys probably watching aren't the biggest Great-O-Khan fan, but
New
Japan is going to try with Great-O-Khan, and this is going to be their A for effort right here. Semi-main event is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. The vacant title now, as Hiromu Takahashi, like we said earlier, suffered a pectoral injury that has put him out for 6 months. We send our thoughts and our condolences to Hiromu Takahashi. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery and he's back very soon with New Japan Pro Wrestling. But El Phantasmo was the challenger for him at Castle Attack, so he will be in the championship matchup, but he will face Los Ingobernables de Japón member Bushi, as well as Suzuki Gun member El Desperado. It's going to be a rare triple threat three-way matchup in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So who wins, ELP, Bushi, or Desperado? Top Guy JJ.
Wait, you said Bushi, not Ibushi.
No, Bushi.
Okay, I just needed to make sure I heard that correctly, because I was like, wait, this match just happened for no reason. So I'm gonna go with ELP. I'm gonna go with ELP to get his name back in that mix, because he was a strong runner for the title that my man Takahashi just left on the table, because he unfortunately got hurt again. After literally, like, we were just cheering for the man and happy as hell to see him back and put on bangers at Wrestle Kingdom. ELP just seems like the right guy to get back on track to be the guy to hold his torch while Takahashi is out.
If it wasn't for the result of Road to Castle Attack with Suzuki-gun, Kanemaru, and Desperado beating ELP and Ishimori just back immediately, like a couple of weeks after they lost the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, them winning it back here, it seems to foreshadow and telegraph that ELP is going to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship for the first time. If it wasn't for that title change, I would go with El Desperado here. I think that you strike while the iron is hot, and he had a star-making performance against Hiromu Takahashi in the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors at the end of 2020, and this would be a great opportunity to kind of see if he can kind of elevate himself in the championship position. But ELP has gotten all the talking time. ELP is a representative. He can be showcased on both in New Japan, in Japan, as well as New Japan Strong in the US. So it just makes sense for ELP to win here, get the heat for 6 months, and set up his matchup with Hiromu returning months down the road, probably the end of this year, like King of Pro Wrestling or Power Struggle. We may get the match that we are supposed to get here at Castle Attack.
Yeah, so, just unfortunate that Takahashi won't be even back on time for even the G1 Climax or anything like that. Like, it's just unfortunate, man.
I mean, G1 Climax is going to be later this year, so it's not going to be in July and August. It's going to be in I think September or October. So there is a chance.
He has a chance. He has a chance.
But
okay.
he's a junior heavyweight, so he will definitely miss the Best of the Super Juniors. That's the unfortunate part. So then finally, we got the main event, IWGP Intercontinental Championship on the line. Kota Ibushi going one-on-one with Tetsuya Naito. We talked about it before. We'll talk about it again. Wrestle Kingdom 15, Night 1. Kota Ibushi defeated Tetsuya Naito to win the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships. He then went on and defeated Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom 15, Night 2, as well as defeated Sonata at the New Beginning in Hiroshima a couple of weeks back. But Tetsuya Naito came out and challenged him because Ibushi had said that his goal as the dual champion was to unite both titles together. He wanted to make the two straps one again, making one IWGP Heavyweight Championship. But Tetsuya Naito, being one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions in the history of New Japan Pro Wrestling, he wants to save the Intercontinental title. He doesn't want it to go away. He wants to save it and separate it from the Heavyweight Championship. So one wants to unite the title with the Heavyweight Championship. One wants to break it free. Who wins? Ibushi versus Naito, the Wrestle Kingdom 15 rematch. Top Guy JJ.
This is why you gotta love my man Naito. He wants to bring that gorgeous Intercontinental Championship back to relevancy, and that is definitely why I'm going with Naito to take that title and relieve Ibushi of feeling like a god after 7 weeks. Because he has 7 weeks of this beautiful, glorious title reign and keeping that IC title as the partner in the irrelevant strap of the most beautiful title in all of professional wrestling, which is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That is the prettiest title in all of wrestling. That title needs to stand alone. That title does not need support. That title does not need to be held with any other title to be as the symbol of the best title in the business. Give the IC strap to Naito. Keep the title relevant. Keep Naito in a potential main event picture. I love the concept. Props to Naito. Naito takes this shit from Ibushi. Keeps that championship relevant.
Yeah, and what I thought was lacking on the New Beginning cards, the New Beginning in Hiroshima to be specific, is that they didn't really have any matches where you can go either way. Like, you knew Ibushi was beating Sonata, you knew Hiromu was beating Sho. Nagoya had Tanahashi versus Shingo, which really you could go either way, you could see either guy winning, but we haven't had any matches where the result could go either way since Wrestle Kingdom besides that match. This match is the exception to that rule. This is one that can go either way. You understand really both guys' intentions going into this one. You understand what their goals are. And I just think that Ibushi needs to keep on his momentum, keep his journey as a god going. The IWGP Intercontinental Championship is not the most beautiful title in the business. The IWGP Heavyweight Championship
title. Yes!
is so you make it one. You make, whether that's putting a white strap on the heavyweight title or combining the design of the two. I just think that making it one, it elevates the U.S. title. The U.S. title is going to feel more important and feel like a real heavyweight title for the New Japan Strong show. It elevates the Never Openweight Championship. As we've seen, we just have gone off of two of the greatest Never Openweight title matches of all time, with Shingo versus Jeff Cobb at Wrestle Kingdom, as well as Shingo versus Tanahashi at New Beginning in Nagoya. So it elevates those two titles. It makes Kota Ibushi feel like the biggest star in the world and feel like an undisputed champion. And the fact that they've kept the titles together so long has elevated both titles, where the Intercontinental title does feel as prominent as the heavyweight title. So I just feel like making it one is the journey that they should go on. So I will pick differently and go with Ibushi in the main event of Castle Attack.
Yeah, so in terms, he did agree with me, because I did say that the IWGP Heavyweight Championship is the most beautiful title in all of professional wrestling. Make the motherfucker stand alone. That title doesn't need help. To. That title don't need help. That title is 16 to 17 pounds of pure beauty. It is the most gorgeous thing in all of wrestling. That title is a symbol on its own.
And a little stat here to kind of show the importance of the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. In the past 9 years, JJ, 9 years, there's only been 8 different IWGP Heavyweight Champions.
Wow. Even more reason for me to go with Naito to take the IC title away from me. That title is everything. I had the privilege of holding that title, even though it wasn't the official title, but it was the direct copy of it. Oh my god! That title is everything. That title is everything, and it has all the champions etched on it. It is made of a thing of beauty. Like, oh god, that guys, if y'all don't know what that title looks like, for some stupid reason, you need to really like look at that shit and fucking put some magnifying glass. Like that title's everything. That title's everything.
Hey, I got to hold the actual IWGP Intercontinental title when we met Minoru Suzuki at WrestleCon a couple of years ago. So that was always fun. So yes, that is all for our preview and predictions for Castle Attack 2021 nights 1 and night 2. It looks like two really good shows coming up from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So of course, we will talk all about it on Tru Heel Heat 115, and stay tuned to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. Once again, push the bell, press all for all notifications for all the great content right here when we drop our New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Castle Attack night 1, night 2 roundtable reviews. Check those out. J News will be on there, I'll be on there, and we'll be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling Castle Attack, so check those out. But you can also check out our lineup right now on the YouTube channel with WWE Elimination Chamber, our live roundtable review from this past Sunday. You can also check out the latest True Rewind, AE Recap, Wednesday Night Warriors, Dark Power, J News Japan, Blunt Impact, Review of Honor, and Richie's Raw Recap, as well as all new episodes of those shows this weekend and next week. You can also check out our brand new community tab. You know that we have a community wall now on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel where we can share content from other YouTube channels. So you can check out our community wall right now, where you can see my latest appearance on Alex McCarthy's Wrestling Daily, where we discuss the big show's AEW signing. You can also check out Powered 4 SP3 with myself and John Scott discussing WWE Elimination Chamber, and my latest appearance on Wrestling Travel Podcast with special guests Al Snow and Franco Varga. Yes, I got to talk to the one, the only Al Snow. So
what does everybody want?
And you can also check out right now on Community Wall from the SK Wrestling YouTube channel, Sports Keto Wrestling Smack Talk, the post show for SmackDown with myself and Rick Ucchino. I've been on there the last couple of weeks. You can also check out preview and predictions for Elimination Chamber with myself and Joe Hubert on the Sports Keto Wrestling YouTube channel. Top Guy JJ, where can they find you on social media, sir?
On Instagram, you can find me at TrueHeel_Top Guy JJ. At Facebook, that's Justin Johnson. And I'm about to get on my PSN network, yo. That P5 is about to come through, brother. You know, that PSN network is about to be lit.
We're gonna get like a video game YouTube channel from Top Guy JJ.
I gotta get into some games. I gotta get into a few. I got a few in mind, but yeah, that might happen. Might happen if I get enough time, but my schedule's fucked.
I was thinking about it. This is a spoiler, we're pulling back the curtain a little bit, but I was thinking about Tru Heel Heat getting a Twitch channel. What do you think about that?
You know what? But yeah, if we get a Tru Heel Heat Twitch channel, I'm just saying, my TV screen that's going on right now is downloading a lot of content right now. So I joins the fuck in and get some beat 'em ups in there, get some Call of Duties in there. I'm telling you, man, I gets it in.
We want to see gamer Top Guy JJ, gamer guy JJ. But yes, and by the way, speaking of, I talked about Powered for SP3. John Scott shouted you out, said that he wants to do some work with you. He said you're his favorite from the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did.
You know what? Shout out to you too, John Scott, because I was like, damn, you got to deal with SP with that Teddy Riley internet. Because I did see you with that fuzzy internet on that line. I was like, damn. Oh, man, John Scott got to carry you with this Teddy /Keisha Cole internet. Like, damn, bro. I was like, damn, SP, like, you kind of making him carry the load. But what?
Internet is rough.
Do it. You got to, just listen. My line is open. It's always open. Just hit me up. I'm obviously just on a crazy work schedule, so I might take like a few hours to respond, but I'm game.
Of course, but check us out: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Tru Heel Heat. You can also join the Tru Heels Facebook group page. You can also follow myself, SP3 on Twitter at Tru Heel SP3, on Instagram at Tru Heel _Epic SP. SP3. You can also follow our good friends over at Battle Club Pro, Warrior Wrestling, Mission Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, our friends Wrestling Travel on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as their YouTube channel. You could also check out YouTube channels for Battle Club Pro, Warrior Wrestling, Mission Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Daily, which is approaching 10,000 subscribers. So go over there and subscribe to them over there, as well as Jimmy Macaram and My Battery is Dying, which is the YouTube channel for Marcus Cash. You can also, if you are already listening to Tru Heel Heat on iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite audio podcast platforms. And of course, you can find Tru Heel Heat on Powered 4 TV. If you want your first month for 50% off, use the promo code SP3. So, until Tru Heel Heat 115 live Saturday, March 6th, previewing AEW Revolution before the March 7th pay-per-view for the resident Tru Heel alcoholic Top Guy JJ. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are signing off for Tru Heel Heat 114. Until next time.
Get that Twitch popping, baby. Get that Twitch popping.